Good morning, everyone. Apologies for the technical glitches. The internet just decided to quit working. Per the usual around here. Sorry about that. Hopefully those of you who had joined a few minutes ago will get this update and can continue to join us for our practice. So I'm going to just pick up where we left off. So we're in our seated cross-legged pose and we stretched over to the right. So now we are going to stretch over to the left. So we'll take the left hand, place it next to the left hip. Inhale as we bring the right arm alongside the right ear, and then we'll fold over to the left, placing the left hand on the mat so we're not crunching into that left wrist. Maybe gaze up under the right arm if the neck will allow it. We'll inhale, we'll come back to center. We'll fold over our bent legs and rock from side to side. Just releasing any tension in our low back area. And we'll come back up to center. And we'll change the cross of the legs for our twist. So we're still sitting up on our bolster or a pillow, whatever you might have at home. Sitting up nice and tall, we're going to take the left hand over to the right knee. We'll inhale, sit up nice and tall, exhale, rotate to the right. With each inhale, see if you can get a little bit taller, and each exhale, see if you can rotate a little bit more, even if it's just a micro amount, even if it's just a centimeter. Once you've gone as far as you can gaze over that right shoulder. We'll inhale, we'll come back to center, and then we'll switch directions. So the right hand going to the left knee, we'll inhale, sit up nice and tall, we'll exhale, rotate over to the left. Again, inhale, get a little taller, exhale, rotate a little bit more. Maybe gaze over that left shoulder. And then we'll come back to center, fold over our bent legs again, and rock from side to side. You might notice it feels a little different with a different leg in the front. And we'll come back up to our seated position and we'll do just a little neck stretch here. So we're going to take the right ear over to the right shoulder. Maybe bring the left arm out to the side. If you'd like a forearm stretch. Then you can lower the left arm down as you turn your head to look down towards your right armpit. Then we'll inhale, we'll come back to center and we'll switch sides. Left ear to left shoulder. Maybe bring the right arm out and flexed out in front of you. Then we'll gaze down toward our left armpit. And we'll bring the head back up to center and lower the right arm down. Then we'll come on to our hands and knees in our tabletop position. So Wrists are lined up underneath the shoulders, knees are lined up underneath the hips. Tops of the feet are flat on the mat. We're going to do some cat-cow here. So really pressing up and away from the wrist. We're going to inhale, bring the forehead and the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, pulling the belly button back towards the spine. Rounding the back like a cat. Inhale, come back up. Forehead and tailbone reaching up. Exhale, pull that belly button back towards the spine. Inhale to come up. Exhale to pull back. And then take 2 more following your own breath at your own pace. Making sure you're taking a full inhale and a full exhale. And then we'll meet back in our tabletop position for our abdominal warm-up. We're going to bring the right fingertips out in front of us, the left toes back behind us. We're going to inhale, lift the right arm alongside the right ear. And then exhale, and you can pull the left foot up off the mat, even if it's just an inch or two. Maybe it's up to hip height. Don't go any higher than your hip. Reaching through those front fingertips, flexing through that back heel. Then lower everything back to the mat. We'll switch sides, so left fingertips out in front, right toes back behind us. We'll inhale, the left arm up alongside the left ear. Exhale, begin lifting the right foot up off the mat, maybe up to hip height. We'll exhale, we'll lower everything down. And then we'll take some hip circles here, so you can lower the seat towards your feet or your heels. Kind of like you're drawing an oval with your belly button on the mat. And then we'll switch directions. And we'll come back to center, and then we'll go ahead and set ourselves up for our first downward facing dog. We'll walk the hands about a palm's distance in front of us. We'll flip the toes, and then we'll pull the hips up and back into downward facing dog. And if downward dog is a little too much for you this morning, you can always lower the knees and come into child's pose instead. You can also widen the knees and lower the hips down if you need a little bit more space. So just check in with your body and see what your body might need this morning. We're going to pedal out the feet in our downward dog. This is really great for the calf muscles that might be tight from hiking. Then we're going to walk the feet up in between the hands at the top of the mat. We'll inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees here. And then we'll inhale, sweep the arms up and around. And exhale the hands to heart center. And of course, the camera is acting wonky, so you can't really see me that great in my standing poses. See if that helps any. You'll just have to pretend you can see my arms because I can't get the camera to back up anymore. Unfortunately, I swear. One of these days, everything will work the way it's supposed to. But until then, we'll just keep doing yoga and you guys will have to pretend you can see me the whole time. We're going to do 3 rounds of sun salutations just to get the body nice and warmed up. As I said earlier, just follow your own pace, and you can always catch up with us when we get to downward facing dog, or you can take child's pose, so whatever you need this morning. So we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back, lower the knees down to tabletop, and then you can lower the torso all the way down to the mat. Press all 10 toes into the mat, the tops of the feet into the mat. Pull the tailbone towards the heels. Inhale, lift the torso up to cobra. And then exhale, push yourselves up to tabletop, and then pull the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Again, feel free to pedal the feet out here if you need to. Then we'll step the feet up at the top of the mat. We'll inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees here as you inhale, sweep the arms up and around. And exhale the hands to heart center. So we'll do that 2 more times. Again, just to get the body nice and warmed up. We'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back. Lower down to tabletop. Lower the torso all the way to the mat. Pressing all 10 toes into the mat, pulling the tailbone towards the heels. We'll inhale the torso up to cobra. And then we'll exhale, push the hips up to tabletop, and then pull the hips up for downward facing dog. So again, still pedaling the feet out here. This is really helpful if you hiked uphill at all, your calves might be a little tired or sore. And then we'll walk the feet up to the top of the mat in between the hands. We'll inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Feel free to bend the knees here as you inhale, sweep the arms up and around. And exhale the hands to heart center. We've got one more here. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, lower the hands, step the feet back, lower the knees to tabletop, then lower the torso down all the way to the mat. Pull the tailbone towards the heels. Inhale, come up to cobra, or you can lift the legs up for up dog. And then exhale, pull the hips up and back for downward facing dog. You want to make sure the weight is even between the hands and the feet in down dog, and you want the weight in your hands to be between your index finger and your thumb. Squeezing the upper arms in towards the ears, gliding the shoulder blades down the back. Then we'll step the feet up in between the hands at the top of the mat. We'll inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. We'll bend the knees as we inhale, sweep the arms up and around, and exhale the hands to heart center. And then we'll go ahead and get set up for our warrior 2. So we'll step to the center of our mats. We'll step the feet apart, 3 to 4 feet apart. We're going to pick up the right heel, move it away from us just a tiny bit. Then we're going to pick up the left toes, rotate them out to the front of the mat. We want to check in and make sure our hips are pointing towards the upper right corner of our mats. We're going to place the hands on the hips, lock them into place, and then turn just the torso back so that it's parallel or somewhat parallel to the long edge of the mat. Then we're going to bend our left knee so that it's tracking right above that left ankle. We'll bring the arms up to a T and gaze down the middle finger of the left hand for warrior 2. So you want to make sure your weight is even between both of your feet. So if you need to move your back foot forward or back, go ahead and do that. You really want to just make sure that left ankle is right above the left knee is above the left ankle. Really stretching nice and wide across your collarbone. Then we're going to do reverse warrior. So we're going to flip the left palm to face the ceiling. And stretch the hand up towards the ceiling. The right fingertips are lightly planted on the left thigh. We'll inhale, we'll come forward, we'll bring the hands behind the back and come down with our torso for humble warrior. We'll inhale, we'll come back up to standing, we'll straighten that left knee, bring the feet parallel, we'll step them together, shake the legs out. Then we'll go to the other side. So we're going to pick the right heel up, move it away a tiny bit, pick up the left toes, rotate them out. Hips are pointing toward the back left corner of the mat this time. And then we're going to rotate the torso to be with the long edge of the mat. And then we're going to bend the right knee so it's tracking right above that right ankle. Left leg is nice and strong and straight behind us. We're going to bring the arms up to a T, gazing down the right middle finger. Stretching nice and wide across the collarbone. Shoulder blades are gliding down the back. We'll flip the right palm to face the ceiling. We'll bring the right fingertips up towards the sky. Then we'll bring the hands behind the back and bring the torso down for humble warrior. We'll inhale, bring the torso back up, straighten that right knee. We'll step the feet together, shake the legs out. And then we're going to come on to all fours once again for a low lunge. So we're going to take the left foot, step it in between the hands. So if it takes a couple tries or if you need to pick your leg up to get there, go ahead and do that. If you've got some blocks or some books, you can place them on either side of the foot. Pressing the right shin and the top of the right foot into the mat, pulling the belly button in towards the spine. If you feel pretty stable right here, you can bring your hands up to your bent knee. And if you feel pretty stable here, you can sweep the arms up alongside the ears. So low lunge is really great at stretching the quad, but especially the hip flexor on this right side here, all the way up into the psoas, which is in your abdominal area. Then we'll exhale, we'll bring the hands back down, and then we'll pull the hips back for a hamstring stretch here. Then we'll plant the feet. We'll move the blocks out of the way so we can switch sides. So the right foot's going to come up in between the hands at the top of the mat. If you've got your blocks, go ahead and place them on either side of your foot. So again, just making sure the right knee is tracking above the right ankle. Pulling the belly button in towards the spine. If you feel pretty stable, bring your hands up to your bent knee. Then we'll sweep the arms up alongside the ears. Gliding the shoulder blades down the back. And we'll place the hands on either side of the foot and we'll shift the hips back so we can stretch the hamstring on the right side. So if your hamstring, the back of your thigh is really tight, you can bend your knee and still get the benefits of stretching the hamstring in the low back. And then we'll plant the foot. And then we'll come to a seated position for our butterfly pose. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. If you've got cushions or blocks, you can place them under your knees. So we'll inhale, we'll sit up nice and tall, and then we'll exhale and fold forward any amount. Hands stretched out in front of us. This helps us stretch our groin. It helps stretch the low back. It also is really helpful if you've got any menstrual cramping. We'll inhale, we'll come back up to center, and then we'll take a stretch on our backs, figure 4 stretch. So we're going to lay down on our backs, and we're going to bring the right leg up, and then place the right ankle on top of the left thigh. And we're going to start just by pressing the right thigh away with our right hand. If you're not feeling very much here, then you can pull that left thigh towards you with the hands wrapped around the back of your left thigh, flexing both feet. So this is our figure 4 stretch, or it's also known as reclined pigeon pose. You can even use your right elbow to push your right thigh away from you, kind of open up the right hip a little bit more. Then we'll drop the left leg down, drop the right foot down, and we'll switch sides so the left ankle comes up to the right thigh. And we start by pressing the left thigh away from us. This might be plenty for you already, and if so, you can just stay right here. Otherwise, you can bring the right thigh up towards you, flexing both feet. Maybe using that left elbow to press into the left thigh. Then we'll lower the feet back down to the mat, and we'll just take some wiper blades with our legs, soles of the feet on the mat. And then we'll set up for our Shavasana. So if your low back is tight, you can keep your feet the width of the mat and lean the knees in toward one another. You can also take a cushion or a bolster and place it underneath your knees. And we're just going to take a short Shavasana here, integrating our practice this morning. Allowing the hands to lay relaxed on the floor. Allowing our bodies to sink into the mat, feeling supported by the earth. So our hip and our glute area is where chakra 2 resides. That's actually our pelvic bowl. and it's a space that we don't always focus on. It's a space that we might feel a lot of tension and clenching. It's also where our emotions sit in our bodies. So if you feel like you've kind of got some pent up emotions, it's really helpful to do some hip opening to really release that energy. So I just invite you and encourage you to kind of observe how you feel in that part of your body. Do you feel connected? Do you feel disconnected? If you have a strong emotional response to something or you don't, maybe notice how you're feeling in your pelvic bowl. Just be observant without passing judgment, or at least try not to pass judgment. You can begin to lengthen your inhales and your exhales. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll over to your right side. And then bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. You can bring your hands together at heart center. Close your eyes if you'd like. So I hope this practice has allowed you to tap into the juiciness of life and to release any tension you might be holding in your body right now. The compassion, the love, and the light in me honors the compassion, the love, and the light in you. Thank you for practicing with me this morning. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.